Hello, Miss Kristen's geometry class. Woo! Alright, I'm going to go over, I gotta erase this real quick. I'm going to go over a little bit of the sine, cosine, tangent. Alright, so we've been doing this a lot in class. I just want a little refresher on here for you guys to see at home when I'm not around. Alright, so I'm going to start out with the basic sine, cosine, tangent. So I've got my triangle. I'm going to have my right angle. I'm going to say this is angle A, this is angle B, and this is angle C. I'm going to make this my little c, or the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. I suck at spelling. Okay, the hypotenuse. This is going to be little b, and this is going to be little a. So when I'm setting up my sine, cosine, tangent, remember sine, cosine, tangent. SOHCAHTOA. Alright, so we've got SOHCAHTOA. And this is opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Okay? And that's sine, cosine, tangent, which I'll write out here in a second. So my sine is going to be equal to opposite divided by my hypotenuse. So for this particular situation, I'm going to say angle A to start with. Angle A, so the sine of angle A. In this situation, because I'm going to write here, I'm going to go opposite. So directly across is little a. And hypotenuse is always going to be whatever's directly across from my 90-degree angle. Okay, so I'm going to do that in the red. So this is always the hypotenuse. So my hypotenuse is going to be C. And this is your basic setup for angle A. Now for angle B, I'm going to switch it up and go down. And I'm going to say the sine of angle B is equal to, it's still opposite, it's directly across from the angle, so it's opposite the angle, B, over my hypotenuse, C. And that's the setup for angle B. So notice it's the same process, it's still the opposite, but it depends on which angle specifically that I'm asking you for. Okay, so now I'm going to do cosine. So cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Remember, adjacent meaning directly next to. So if I say A, and I know that I'm already using my hypotenuse, because obviously the hypotenuse is next to it as well, but what I'm looking for is what is not the hypotenuse. So looking at this, B is my adjacent, and C is my hypotenuse. So I'm going to have, for angle A, so cosine of angle A is equal to adjacent B over my hypotenuse C. Alright, same thing for angle B. Alright, I don't even have to erase this because it's not my way this time. Yay! Alright, so cosine of angle B is equal to my adjacent over my hypotenuse. So A over C. Okay? So again, these look complicated, but they only look complicated because you haven't seen them before. Once you see them a little bit more regularly and after practicing on the homework, it'll look more obvious and it'll be one of those just easy equations that we've already been working with. Okay, the last and not least is tangent. Now my tangent has nothing to do with the hypotenuse. So my tangent is going to be equal to my opposite over adjacent. And remember, it comes into term with which angle I'm asking for specifically. So specifically, just for angle A, I'm going to have opposite over adjacent. So tangent for angle A is equal to, I don't know why I tried to put an equal sign inside the A, is equal to A over B. And again, that's little a and little b. And we're going to get into Greek letters like alpha, beta, and gamma, and you'll see that sometimes it makes it a little bit more easier, maybe, but that's a law of sines and law of cosine, so we're not into that yet, so we don't have to worry about it right now. But so my tangent for angle B is literally going to be the opposite of tangent for angle A. So B over A. So if this is my angle I'm asking for, then this is the opposite side over my adjacent. Remember, adjacent touching opposite, complete other side. It does not ever touch the opposite. That's another way to remember it. If I'm asking for an angle, pick the side that it is not touching at all, and that is your opposite side. There's another way to kind of think of it in the back of your mind. Alright? Where are we at? Side. Okay. Actually, I'm going to leave this at that. Good? Okay. So I'm not going to run through any examples on here. That's just the basic setup that is for any right triangle and only for right triangles. Okay, so if you don't see that little perpendicular square there, that means that you can't use sine, cosine, tangent. But anytime you do see that perpendicular square, then one way or another you can use sine, cosine, tangent. Alright, so I'm going to stop this here. Don't get too overwhelmed. Don't get too worried. I love you guys. Alright, see you tomorrow. Bye.